Da. Anyways, this is me, Martel. You know what? Why not do something original? Tupac, Makaveli, Tupac Shakur. Whatever he's in afterlife of the world, or somewhere on his planet somewhere, by another analysis, allegedly. Not sure if he's, in paradise or not. If he's watching, or if people's watching, this ain't disrespect, this ain't slander video. I actually respect Tupac. I love his interviews. He actually helped me like discover myself actually, especially as a black disabled youth. I'm very free. Now imagine, who got me introduced to Tupac Shakur, Makaveli? Actually my dad. Back in the late 80s, it was Running OG kind of post original song of that. And it was like some 1998 album, something like, Stop the Violence or something, you know what I'm saying? Everybody know Tupac for its controversial nature and all that. Which, what happened in 2023 if we had a Tupac? For one thing, just like, Malcolm X. Game over. I mean, seriously, this gentleman here, he's a troubled individual, we all know that. Everybody in the world knows Mr. Tupac Shakur, you know what I'm saying? And I'm surprised he even live at past 25. I'm 33. His demise supposedly was at 25. Some say he's still alive, in a witness program and anything, but that's not my place to discuss. Don't care. But I love a good CT, you know what I'm saying? Or CP, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, Tupac, he was definitely an inspiration and motivation for me. Starting myself, being a recording artist, I actually got into writing because of this great man here, you know what I'm saying? He's a brilliant essay writer, you know what I'm saying? Also, a visionary. Please look up Art of War by Sun Tzu, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, all I can say is study your enemies. People know Tupac for being, reckless, radical, controversial, double-sided, and everything all between. But, nobody never took out Tupac, the intellectual. Tupac, he's a very educated, gentleman. His family made him and his mother, get their flowers, to say rest in peace. Otherwise, Tupac was a motivation for me, especially, musically, I guess starting up in early 2000s, the same year my mother had passed in 2003. And I'll tell you a story. I got falsely accused of a crime I didn't do. In 2003, I was only 13 years old. It was only 20 years ago. I guess that's retro, That's ancient. I know. Man, Martel, that's so old, man. Yeah, but let me tell you a story. What's my false song, Mr. Makaveli? Study your enemies. Art of War. Anyways, this gentleman here, whatever you love him or hate him, you know what I'm saying? Fuck life and all, Of course, he's actually inspiration, as a musician, as myself as a musician, So I actually played, some instruments, not professional. I played congas, flutes, and harmonica, I was trained, I was supposed to be, let's be real, special education is garbage. And my apologies to people with disabilities, you know what I'm saying? This will be a rant. Yeah, if you notice, if you are in special education classes, young and up in age, you have been warned. My apologies in advance to people of color, people with disabilities. Being a person with disability myself, I always try to be mindful on that. And Tupac was very mindful, you know what I'm saying? He talked about social events, Brenda got a baby and all that, babies, Planned Parenthood, getting basically into recyclable bins. That's what I could say, you know what I'm saying? I have to keep it PG and all that, PG-13. What Tupac inspired me and motivation is, besides the music, social injustice, equality and all that, equal rights, women rights and all that, minority rights and stuff, you know what I'm saying? POC and WOC rights. I know every time feminists hate me, you know what I'm saying? I'm just an obvious out there, you know what I'm saying? And Tupac, I apologize for rambling on. I was supposed to get some sleep. I was having a great conversation with the great, golden brother, Winston Wu and all that. So, Tupac made whatever the circumstances and other world or on this planet. If he's still on this planet, he got at least be almost like near 60 years old. You know what I'm saying? He was born in the 70s. Jesus Christ. Okay, Grandpa, if you're listening, thanks for being, idol. Thanks for being icon. You know what I'm saying? If not, then my apologies for my ignorance. Let me get into the first half. The painful half, falsely accused of a crime. It starts, let's just say it rhymes with great. You know what I'm saying? If you get my drift, because I can't say that on social media because you read the platform less than Sonic the Hedgehog. He was actually very weird in his 20s, you know what I'm saying? Now, not a, black youth is that weird, you know what I'm saying? Especially his family came from Black Panther. His mother was a target, individual. Him and Tupac was a target individual. His grandfather, his uncle, Tupac Shakur, he's unfortunately is going to be around longer on earth, and may he rest in peace as he dealing with cancer. Anything. I read some reports about that. Actually broke my heart. Like, nobody ain't care about his legacy or anything. The only thing they see about Tupac is to fuck like his, negativity sells, drama sells. You know how the media and social media is and all that. In 2023, what kind of Tupac would be nowadays? Look at Andrew Tate. He's getting targeted. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Look at Jordan Peterson, Mr. Jordan Peterson. Very highly intellectual, also getting targeted. You see, like men, regardless of, stature and all that, background, class and all that, status, well, whatever you're rich or impoverished. Yeah, but anyways, let's get into the first half. Reason I got inspired by Tupac, my parents, mainly my dad, which is ironic. He is kind of being a hip-hop fan, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know he even was into Tupac, you know what I'm saying? His favorite rap group was Naughty by Nature, which by Tretch, if Tretch is watching this, please, I just want to say thank you for being my dad's favorite rap band, you know what I'm saying? And one of your brothers, I'm sorry, that's all I know, it's Naughty by Nature. My dad's favorite band, my favorite band, is Bone Thugs and Harmony, which you all met, well, Mr. Tupac Shakur, Makaveli. The most black intellectual, you know what I'm saying? But you know how the media is. They like to see black youth, go to private prison industrial complex, modern day slavery and all that. They want to see, people with disabilities, people of color, women of color, no matter what your background, anything, class, race, whatever. Treat people with respect, Prison is big business. Tupac's right. Prison industrial complex is very big business. Modern day slavery is another. Slavery ain't went away. It just changed its nature, changed the course of its nature, Martell, I did not know you were such a Tupac fanatic. No, I respect. I'm ignorant as a youth, and I'm getting to the story I was falsely accused. It was a story I was waiting for. My mom passed in April 13, 2003, and I hardly know my mother or anything, so give you insight. My upbringing was mostly, my dad, my uncle, my pastor, and, the streets. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get to Tupac, probably like third part. The first part is I was falsely accused of a crime. It was summer of 2003. I was waiting by Arby's all the way Manhattan, in part of town where I'm at. Very dangerous part of town. It was getting dark and all that. It was at the time of Kmart. Retro, ancient Kmart. What is Kmart, Martell? Look up Kmart. Oh, it don't exist no more. Kmart and Sears got broke. But anyways, y'all, falsely accused by some old snail skin broad, with blonde hair and blue eyes. And this is the first time I dealt with racism, the first time, And here's the story of it. I was falsely accused of a crime. Somehow I was just waiting, I was waiting on a bus or so. I was waiting on a bus. Typically just waiting on a bus. I was only a young child, only 13 years old. Somehow this weird sour skin would just come my way, just look at me, stare me down and all that in the middle and near nighttime, like even at night, as I waited for the bus. The bus never showed up anything, which I was ignorant. Plus, remember, it's 2003. I was only 13 years old, and I was the only child and all this. So I always go places alone, make sure to take care of her dad that was on dialysis. My mother was dealing with mental health. And no, I'm not going to discuss physical, mental disabilities because that's just too much detail, too negative, too depression. But anyways, I was falsely accused of crime, and like an hour or two or so later, it was 4 cop cars surrounding me, telling me to freeze, get in the car, shoving it with my daddy called it the paddy wagon, and his time and all that, you know, cops, police. Then they pulled me to Kmart with that same disgusting sour skin, accused me of rape, you know what I'm saying? Because, well, apparently, because of my skin color. And yes, that's the first time. Also the same year, 2003. I remember I was just walking around because I think I was going over to a neighbor's house at the time. You got to remember, this is a whole different time. I remember these sour kids, you know what I'm saying? Fragile skin kids, racist kids and all that. Called me N-word and all that. That's the first time I've ever been called actual, well, N-word, you know. And I remember always, you know, as I was looking to the thing at the time, was Tupac Resurrection, radio with Cuban Gooding Jr., you know, he's getting wrongly targeted. And I forgot what, at the time, it was really heartbroken watching radio. It was really, because at the time my mother died, and it broke my heart to really watch it because I could relate to radio, Cuban Jr. and all that. I'm not sure if he met Tupac and all that. My apologies if he did, and I hope he's all right. At the time, the cops took me home and all that. I remember the first thing, I went to dress out, I was crying to my dad. I said, Dad, they accused me of trying to rape somebody. I say, Martell. You know, I can't say my legal name online because, you know, the hackers and spammers and agents are watching me. Martell, you know, son, you know, this is the way it is, you know. And my dad, you know, my mom and dad came from a very old school time where they deal with prejudice up front, you know what I'm saying, call you the N-word and C-word, you know what I'm saying, dead in your face and all that, you can't do nothing about it, you know what I'm saying. I'm going to get attacked by all kinds of groups right now. I expected this. What got me motivation inspired to Tupac, quite frankly, is, well, he's a rebel. He ain't afraid to tell the establishment like it is. Rage Against the Machine. No, that's a band, right? You always gotta love the artist as just a rebel against the machine. But anyways, the second part is the racism and all that. If I can remember, my mind is fuzzy right now. Because I'm taking my medicine. I'm actually getting ready to take my medicine right now. So I'm dealing with insomnia and sleep apnea. But anyway, back to the second part of what got me into Tupac and all that. The second story was dealing with some racist, fragile skins. They was trying to gang up on me. It was some slobbish slob skin with attitude and all that. Called me N-word and all that. There's some lanky, slinky soy girl with attitude, you know, that came my way, called me N-word, and the two of the, you know, fragile skins and all that. I'm not being racist, I'm just saying for what it is. Call me N-word. I said I was ready to, you know, put my hand, what do you call it? Put your hands up and all that, you know what I'm saying? I ain't talking no hip-hop party. I said, I wish you would call me N-word, you know what I'm saying? That's the first time I stood up for myself. I said, you better back down, boy. Yes, they did call me a boy. I said, all right. I said, all right, then, you know, I did say the C-word. Can I say they got to be real? I'm not racist, just say for what it is. I did call them a C-word. I call them punks, you know what I'm saying? And somehow I guess they changed their tune or so, saying, like, you better get out of here. So let's shut up and suck my dick. Thank you, Mr. Tupac. Sorry. I was trying to get up because on first is, you know what? So I dropped my phone. Yeah, I did say, suck my dick. You know what I'm saying? And I gave him my middle finger, you know. I told my dad about this. I said, Dad, you know, this is my first time ever dealing with racism. Oh, get used to it. You're going to get called boy, N-word, a C-word and all that, Uncle Tom and all that. Oh, of course, that's when I got into Malcolm X. Whew! Oh, hey, this guy is an intellectual, which I love. Thank you, Mr. Shakur. You know, whatever he's in other world with King Kai and all that, whatever y'all guys believe in. May he gets eternal rest if he's here. Also get your rest, you know what I'm saying? The new generation of Tupac. Andrew Tate. Jordan Peterson. Oh God. Game over for that. Let me tell you other different parts, you know. I think it was between, what was it, 2004 or 5. Me and my cousin, K-Bridge, we was racially profiled because they mistake us for being criminals or so. I don't know why. We went to the bank or so, cash out some coins instead of get some dollars because we was hungry and all that. We were sitting by the bench all summer. It was 2 cops, 2 pigs, came out of nowhere and grabbed us out of nowhere. I thought we was like, yo, we're being attacked. Yo, what's that going on here? You know? Oh, sorry, young gentlemen. You look very suspicious. Yes, I know about racial profiling and racial discrimination, you know? But carry on. Here's the nasty kicker. I dealt with police brutality. Of July 4th, 2006, 3 years after my mother passed, me and my cousin, you know, what up, bro? What up, K-Bridge? Yeah. Both of us went downtown to a place called, it's no longer in business, called Mr. B's, to get some food. So I stopped at would-be, well, robbery. So in progress, I even know there was a bunch of young, troubled black kids were hungry, so hungry that I even know they was ready, you know, to get that, man. I said, look, I told you young boys, I said, it ain't worth going to a prison industrial complex, you know what I'm saying? It ain't worth throwing your life away, you know? Let me take care of your meals and stuff, you know? So let me give you some snacks and stuff. I was only 16 years old. And they was ready to cry. I said, thank you. No one ever did this for us, you know, because I care for kids, you know what I'm saying? Team Martell kids, you know? And somehow I came outside, saw my cousin on the ground arrested. I said, hello, what's going on here? I said, kindly to the officer. And somehow 10 pigs with badges just beat on me and stumped me down and all that. Oh, Rodney King, rest in peace to Rodney King, you know. Yeah, if you read the Rodney King riots and all that, that exactly happened in 2006. But Martell, why didn't your family press charges? Unfortunately, they refused to do that. Neither of our families refused to press charges against the cops, and me and my dad, despite he was disabled and all that, me and my dad was on rocky terms ever since then, until the day he passed. But unfortunately, he was a dialysis patient, so I couldn't. I had to think, yeah, he was not in a good state of condition, unfortunately. But I was a high-headed, young-blooded, ignorant, irrational, I guess you could say disrespectful, misguided young man. And I had to do, back with it, 2007. Also, too, I got to near a fight or so in school. I live in a ghetto dump and all that, and this is school is very, very popular. It's basically Scott, you know what I'm saying? That school is a straight up dump. Have you ever seen Lean on Me? That's exactly what that school is, you know what I'm saying? Get all kind of fights and stuff, all kind of trouble and all that. Black kid antics and all that, rebel antics and all that. You know, street system and all that. The police, you know what I'm saying? NWA. Yeah, it was literally like Lean on Me 2006 edition. And I was only 16, you know, 16, 17, you know what I'm saying? I left that trash dump in 2007. Here's the second part dealing with the police. I was arrested twice, you know what I'm saying? Arrested in 2006, both me and Kay were arrested. And I was arrested again for the final time in 2007. I was only 17 years old. And boy, it breaks my heart to say this, house. They arrested me, you know, they arrested the guy that was, you know, teasing me, making fun of me. Mind you, I ain't taking no crap from nobody, you know. I ain't taking no crap from students, teachers, ministers, anything, you know what I'm saying? All thanks to this icon here, you know. And I was forced to do community service as well. Besides community service and First time I got into mental health against my will. And if I didn't serve that, so they added 2 years between 2006 and 2007. Wrote a horrible report about me that basically me and my cousin was basically with the lying, dishonest pigs, where I'm from, dishonest cowards. Basically think we're instigating, starting crap and all that, you know what I'm saying? They wrote this disgusting police report. Unfortunately, the police report at the time was burning in a house fire, you know? And thankfully I ain't got a record. Second account was that too, so they almost gave me 2 years in prison. Have I not did a community service? So someone tell you mandated therapy, you know. So I took it. I told the judge, I said, I'll do the time for, you know, community service at the Boys and Girls Club and all that. You know, and this is how Ohio Street Kings came to be, you know, myself, K Bridge, TZ Roadboy, and T-Bus, you know, 4 young black teens, misguided, misunderstanding youth, just like, you know, Mr. Shakur here, and Mr. Shakur made it both, you know, have their flowers. You know, it really broke my heart that this is how we came together, you know. In 2007, we decided, you know, we were just young kids, you know what I'm saying, just trying to make a name for ourselves, record music, you know, against injustice, inequality, and all that, racial discrimination, police brutality, and all that. I want you to know, I want you to tell young people that regardless of your background, your race, your status, you know, just like what happened to Mr. Shakur and Mr. Rodney King, nobody deserved injustice, you know, even in 2023, you know, and especially I heard Tupac get around in the 90s. I was only a kid, a 90s kid, you know. So I had to thank my parents for giving me into Tupac, you know what I'm saying? What got me besides his music? I want to say mandated therapy sucks, but it's better than being enslaved in some system you'll never get out, you know. That's what they want, you know. Oh, yeah, he reads a lot of literature, which that intrigues me. You know, people in the media still from 1996 to 2023 and beyond. You know, I don't know what to say to young kids, you know what I'm saying? Young black teens and youth and all that. I have literally no words for you. Because I'd be a hypocrite, because I'm surprised I'm alive to tell a story, you know? A story to tell, you know, live to tell, you know. Tupac actually wrote a strip about that. I wish it was published, you know what I'm saying? Or even try to finish it from his family or something. You know, everybody got a story to tell, you know? And it breaks my heart as a disabled black man, you know, being 30, mid-30s, you know, I'm sad to say that. You know, everybody in, you know, hip-hop, supposed to be all young and hip and all that, but a lot of young, you know, I lost a lot of good people. Doesn't matter your age, but a lot of good young youth in their teens, you know, babies, teens, even their 20s, and gut-wrenching, heartbroken. You know, I'm sorry for this long broadcast, but this has to be said, you know. Regardless, whatever you love him or otherwise, you know, you got to respect what his stance at. A lot of today's, well, black rappers, especially, unfortunately, I'm in the music business myself, and I ain't gonna rap nobody out. I don't care. But a lot of black rappers are cowards. You know, of course, they ain't gonna bite the executives that feed them and all that. Look at old aging ass snitch dog, Snoop Dogg. You know what I'm saying? How the hell he still like talking G's up, hoes down, but you let Oprah put you down like the dog that you are? How dare you, Snoop? I thought you supposed to be gangster. How you gangster? You never went to jail in your life. You got arrested, you paid him off, or you do a plea deal or something. Snoop Dogg ain't hard. He's a studio gangster. Easy-E did that. Jesus Christ, rest in peace, Easy-E, man. Yeah, but Mr. Makaveli, your voice has not been forgotten. You know, whatever he voluntary or involuntary of his demise, you know what I'm saying, or his role in his music live, it's kind of, let's be real. How did we went from Brenda have a baby, keep your head up, to I Get Around, Thug Life, and quite apparently, you know, the last album. Apparently, Makaveli. Very intellectual genius, you know. He had to play the game. We all do. Doesn't matter. In this life and business alike, you gotta strategize, you know. This man is such a brilliant man. He still get love to this day, you know. And I probably know that a lot of forces are probably hating and steaming my guts right now. But, you know, like Asians told me, Sun Tzu, death before dishonor. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. Death before dishonor. And that's where I stand. Me, I could compromise, but I would never fully bend over. Tupac. And that's the song that started it all. I just want to say thank you to my parents for getting me to Tupac and all that, you know. And thank you to the late great Mrs. Phoenix Shakur. And no parent shouldn't have to put their kids down on the ground, you know, 6 feet deep, or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? I saw my parents. You know, I lost my mother in 2003. I was only 13 years old, and it was a very tragic time. I'm surprised to even be alive. I did self-harm. I tried to delete myself, and yeah, it's a rocky road. Still a rocky road. And, you know, taking care of a dad that was been through hell and back, literally. Not fire or anything, but like, you know, like struggle, troubles, tributes, and tributes and tribulations or something. My bad. Yeah, Mr. Shakur, thank you. Black Panthers, even though they've been infiltrated with the government, and still now with the BM Black Lives Movement being infiltrated too, everything being infiltrated. I know your role's been compromised and probably been long since then, you know. Thank you for your sacrifices, you know. As a disabled black man, thank you for your voice, you know. Thank you for being an inspiration. As Martell, aka MPK, aka Must Put in Knowledge, you know. At your rally, it went from exit Tupac to enter Makaveli, you know. Strategize your enemies, you know. No matter what happens to me, my message live on. So it's Tupac Shakur, aka Mr. Makaveli. And I'm sorry for holding everybody up for 30 minutes, but this is a great troubled individual, you know. No one ever took the time I've known, and especially the media. You know, I'm going to talk to the next guy I love. I look up to, he's my icon, he's my everything I look up to, Michael Jackson. Both these gentlemen are been heavily targeted, disrupted, and, you know, sad to say, corruption. They fought against corruption, even though they lost their lives. You know, they're no longer here, or however you want to see it. Just want to let you know that I do respect their struggles. They're also artists that didn't conform and bend over, you know what I'm saying? Now, I need to be lighting up my load and watch the word sell out, you know what I'm saying? Everybody has to conform one way or another, you know? And I'm probably going to get attacked by all these pro-wackos and all that, any background, any culture, any race, and all that, genders and all that. Let's address the elephant out of the room. Uncle Tom and all that, Sambo and whatever. Mr. Makaveli, in 2023 and beyond, those kids and grandkids, whoo, retirement homes, you know, especially about women's rights and all that, you know what I'm saying? That's actually, I got into feminism this way. Tupac. You know, keep your head up. Brenda got a baby. Brenda got a baby. I don't know how the song goes. I know, I listened many times over, but I apologize, the tone's off. Keep your head up. Keep your head up. Yeah. I wrote a song called Anything is Possible, you know, but that was when I was only 8. In 2008, I was just experimenting, just learning how to rap or so. And do music. Yeah. Tupac Shakur. I think his name was actually named after, against colonization and all that, you know. And that's also a shout out to the Asian identity community and all that. To all the golden bros and gold bunnies and My beautiful Blasian lady, and all and above, you know, PLC, WCO groups and all that. You're not a human toilet, you know. Yes, he did change. He went from the, no disrespect, he went from the scrawny 18 when his interview taught, "You're too nice for me," to, man, screw that noise. In the early to mid 90s, you know, everything being infiltrated, you know, by dark forces. And they certainly are watching, you know, just like Mad Bus Driver. They certainly are watching, and they certainly are listening. And don't worry, I'm not advocating nothing. Just a frustrated, disgruntled, you know, man from a broken youth with a spoken truth, you know. Martel's out.